So it sounds like you're super interested in how AI can kind of boost your creative side.
Yeah, and I think especially since you enjoy working independently.
Right. Sometimes all the collaboration and back and forth is just too much.
It can be.
And you know what? This stuff you sent me, this outline, for a video all about AI for creative projects,
Right.
it really seems like it's speaking your language.
Oh, yeah?
Literally, it's in Thai.
Yeah.
And it's specifically for introverts.
Introverts, that's interesting.
Yeah, and it really dives into how AI can help us, with those creative hurdles we all face.
Yeah, I think everyone faces them, but especially introverts, I bet.
Yeah. So let's dive into this. I'm really curious what this video has to say.
Me too. Let's go.
Okay, so first off, it's kind of framing this whole moment, like right now, as like the golden era for introverts.
Wow.
Right. And it makes you think, right, AI could actually take away some of those social anxieties that can, get in the way of creativity.
Totally. Because a lot of times being creative can involve things like pitching ideas to other people.
Exactly. Or feeling pressure to constantly collaborate.
Collaborate, yeah.
Which would be tough for anyone, but especially for people who, enjoy working more independently.
For sure.
So it's like AI can be this buffer. It lets you unleash that creativity without the added stress.
Right. Without that extra layer of social interaction that some people might not be so comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly. And the video really digs into the benefits for introverts specifically.
Okay, like what does it say?
Well, it talks about how AI can reduce the need for face-to-face interaction.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which can be huge for introverts, right?
Huge.
And it can help you work more efficiently, on your own.
Right.
And it even eases that pressure of feeling like you need to be an expert right out of the gate.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that can be a real barrier for people, that feeling of not being good enough.
Right.
But if you have AI to help you along the way, maybe you can start producing really great work even while you're still learning.
Yeah, it's like you can start making professional level stuff right away, even as a beginner.
Yeah, a secret weapon.
I love that, like a secret weapon in your creative arsenal. So what kinds of creative projects are we talking about here?
I'm curious too.
Well, this video outlines 5 main categories: blogging and ebook creation, podcasts and YouTube scripts, digital art, and NFTs.
Oh, that's a lot.
There's more: music production.
Oh, wow.
And even online courses.
That pretty much covers everything.
Right. It's the whole spectrum of creative stuff.
It's true. And what's really interesting is that they don't just talk about these categories in general.
Yeah.
They actually get into specific AI tools that they recommend.
Okay, let's hear it. What tools do they suggest?
So for blogging and ebooks, they recommend, the usual suspects: ChatGPT
Of course.
and Grammarly.
We use both of those all the time.
Right. And I can see how this would be especially helpful for introverts.
Yeah, ChatGPT can help you get those ideas out and structured, without that pressure of staring at a blank page.
A blank page is scary for anyone.
Right. And then Grammarly swoops in to polish your writing and make sure it's, clear and error-free.
Which can be a huge confidence boost.
Huge. It's like having a virtual editor, but without any awkward conversations or scheduling meetings.
Exactly. And for podcasts and YouTube videos, they also recommend Descript.
Oh, interesting. You ever use that one?
I have, actually.
Cool. I haven't yet, but I've heard it's great for editing.
Yeah, it makes the whole post-production process so much smoother. And, let's be honest, editing can be super tedious and time-consuming.
Oh, yeah.
Even for the most extroverted people out there.
I can only imagine.
But for someone like you who thrives on working independently, I think Descript could be a game changer.
Seriously.
Yeah, you can just focus on recording your ideas and then let the AI handle all the technical stuff.
That's awesome.
And when it comes to digital art and NFTs, that world can seem really intimidating.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for introverts.
Absolutely.
But they suggest using tools like Leonardo.ai and OpenSea.
Okay.
And I think this is where things get really interesting.
Tell me more.
So with Leonardo.ai, you can actually generate art based on your concepts.
Oh, wow.
Which opens up a ton of possibilities for visual expression.
So even if you can't draw, you can still create art.
Exactly. And then OpenSea is where you can actually, mint and sell your NFTs.
Right. I've heard of OpenSea.
So imagine being able to share your art with the world and maybe even build a following, all from your own space.
That's amazing. So you're saying that AI is making it possible for introverted artists to bypass a lot of those traditional art world hurdles,
Totally.
which can be really social and, let's be honest, sometimes kind of cutthroat.
Cutthroat is right. Okay, and then for music production, they recommend tools like AIVA and SoundDraw. And AIVA is particularly fascinating because it actually composes original music using algorithms.
Wow. So even if you've never played an instrument or written a note of music, you can still create your own songs.
Exactly. It's pretty mind-blowing.
Yeah.
And then SoundDraw lets you customize the style, genre, and mood of the music to fit your project.
Wow. That's incredible. So I'm hearing you say that even with absolute zero musical talent, I could potentially create the soundtrack for my next video.
It's possible.
This is making me want to try all of these tools.
Oh, I do.
Okay, what about online courses? That seems like a whole other beast.
It is, but they recommend a combination of tools to tackle it. First up, you've got ChatGPT, which can help you outline and script the course content.
Oh, that makes sense.
So even if you're not, super comfortable being on camera, you can still get your knowledge out there.
And share your expertise.
Exactly. And for creating slides and visuals, they recommend Canva.
Canva is a lifesaver.
It is. And then for recording and editing the video lessons, they suggest Loom or Descript.
Cool. So it's not just about creating the content itself, right? It's also about how you package it and get it out there for people to see.
Exactly. And they even mention platforms like Udemy and Skillshare where you can actually host and sell your course.
They really thought of everything.
It seems like it.
It's really cool that they don't just focus on the tools. They also sprinkle in some helpful tips and insights along the way.
Totally. Like one that really stood out to me was their emphasis on starting with a project based on your passions, something you genuinely enjoy.
Right, because even with AI, you're still going to need to put in the time and effort.
Exactly. If you're not working on something that excites you, it's easy to lose steam.
For sure. And that's where the magic of AI comes in, right?
Right.
It can help bridge those skill gaps so that even if you're a total beginner, you can still pursue those passions and create something amazing.
It's true. They also talk about embracing trial and error.
Oh, that's important.
Viewing mistakes as learning opportunities.
Yeah. I think that's so important, especially for people who might be hesitant to put themselves out there.
Absolutely. And having AI there as a safety net can give you the confidence to experiment more freely.
Yeah, it's like AI gives you permission to play around without the fear messing up.
Totally. Like it's okay to make mistakes because the AI can help you fix them. And here's the biggest takeaway from the whole video.
What's that?
AI is a collaborative partner. It's not a replacement for you.
Right, for human creativity.
Right, for you. It's a tool that we can use to make our ideas better.
But ultimately, the heart and soul of any creative project still comes from us, the humans.
That's a great way to put it.
So AI is like our creative sidekick, helping us come up with ideas, overcome technical challenges, and even polish our final product.
Exactly.
But it's still up to us to bring the passion, the vision, and the unique perspective that makes our work stand out. Now, while I was going through all of this, one thing really stood out to me.
What was that?
And I'm really curious to get your take on it.
I'm all ears. Tell me.
So the whole point of this video is that AI can empower introverts to do creative projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then they talk about using AI to create digital art.
Yeah.
That could be sold as NFTs. And it just got me thinking.
Oh, I see where you're going with this. There's a little tension there, right?
Exactly. On one hand, AI can help us express ourselves creatively.
Right.
No matter who you are.
Yeah.
But then the NFT market is like all about trends.
Yeah.
And speculation.
You're trying to make money.
Exactly. So it makes you wonder, right?
Yeah.
If we're focusing on like the commercial side of AI-generated art, does it actually overshadow the goal of helping introverted creators?
I think that's a really good point.
Right. Because if you're always chasing the next trend, to try and make a sale, it just seems like that could add a whole new layer of pressure.
Right. And even anxiety.
Even with AI to help you, it kind of goes against the whole idea of AI being this liberating tool,
Yeah. It does. It's like this bigger question we're facing, I think.
Yeah.
When AI and creativity intersect, how do we balance that self-expression with the commercial pressures of, making money and creating something new all the time?
Right. Like imagine someone who's finally found their creative voice, right?
Yeah.
Through AI-generated art. But then they just get caught up in the NFT hype.
Oh, no.
And they start changing their style all the time. To chase that next big sale, it feels like they lose sight of what they really loved about creating in the first place.
Absolutely. And that's why it's so important to remember that the source emphasized starting with your passion. If you're creating something you genuinely enjoy,
Right.
you're much less likely to get caught up in those trends.
Like creating for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where their advice about AI being a partner is so important.
Right.
AI can give you the tools and the technical support, but you're the one who sets the goals. You decide the pace. And you make the creative choices.
Choices that feel right for you.
Exactly.
This makes me think about those other creative projects the source talked about, like blogging or podcasting, music production. Do you think those are any less susceptible to this, like, tension between self-expression and commercialization?
I don't think so.
Really?
I mean, they might not be as tied to NFTs. But they all still exist in this world where algorithms matter.
Right.
Where you need to get an audience and where, making money is part of it.
So, like, even a blogger who just loves to share their travel stories.
Yeah.
They might feel pressure to write in a way that, like, shows up on Google.
Totally. Or to please their sponsors.
Exactly. Or a musician who's using AI might follow trends instead of experimenting with sounds they actually like.
It's a tough balance for any creator.
Introverted or not.
Yeah, exactly.
This is where I think that advice about trial and error is so helpful.
What do you mean?
Like, if you're going to use AI to be creative, we got to be willing to play around, to make mistakes.
Right.
Because that's how we find our own style.
Our own voice, no matter what we're creating.
Exactly.
And that's what makes AI so cool as a tool.
Yeah.
It lets you try new things, make those mistakes, and then refine your ideas until you find something that truly feels like you.
And maybe, just maybe, that authenticity will shine through in the end, right?
I think so.
Whether it's an NFT, a blog post, a song, whatever.
Because in the end, it's that human element, the passion, the perspective, the story that each person brings. That's what really connects with people.
And AI can help with that, but it can't replace it.
Exactly. So for you, the listener, what are the main takeaways from this deep dive?
Especially if you're someone who loves to work on your own.
Well, first off, it's a really amazing time to be a creator.
Right.
AI tools are everywhere, and they're getting easier to use all the time.
And you don't have to be a tech whiz to use them.
Yeah, not at all. Just start exploring those tools and see what sparks your interest.
Play around.
Yeah, have fun, but also remember to stick to your passions.
Right.
Choose projects that you're genuinely excited about.
That align with your values.
Exactly.
And remember that process of trial and error.
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
It's all part of the journey. And AI can be there to support you along the way.
To help you find your own creative voice.
And lastly, AI is a tool.
Right. It's not here to replace you.
It's a collaborator.
It's up to you to use it in a way that feels right.
That feels authentic to your vision.
Exactly.
Well, this deep dive has been really thought-provoking.
It has.
And we've only scratched the surface. But there's one last thought I want to leave you with. We've talked about how AI can help us be more creative.
Right.
But what about, like, the bigger picture,
Oh, yeah, good point.
Does using these AI tools mean that everything will start to look the same?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, are we all going to end up in this world where everything just feels kind of, like, homogenized?
Well, a lot of people are worried about that.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, and some people argue that, as these tools get more popular, we might see everyone kind of converging on certain styles.
The styles that the algorithms like, right?
Right, exactly. Or the styles that are, like, selling well.
So instead of having all this cool, unique art, it'll be like one big creative blob.
Yeah, a monoculture. It's possible.
Yeah.
But, there's another way to think about it.
Really? How?
What if AI actually makes things more diverse? Think about it. If more people can create things from all different backgrounds and experiences, then we might actually see a huge explosion of new ideas and styles.
So it's like instead of limiting creativity, AI could actually open it up to way more people.
Exactly. Imagine someone who never had the time to learn how to paint, right?
Right.
But now they can make incredible digital art with the help of AI.
Oh, I like that.
Or like someone who was always too afraid to share their writing can now publish a whole blog because AI gave them the confidence.
Okay, that's a much more optimistic way of looking at it.
It is. And who knows, maybe all these new voices could actually push AI even further.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so we'll have even better tools in the future.
So it's not like a guaranteed thing that AI will ruin creativity.
Right.
It really depends on how we use it.
It's all about choices.
Being thoughtful, right?
Exactly. And that's why it's so good that we're having these conversations.
Yeah.
So we can really understand how AI can impact creativity, the good and the bad.
Finding that balance.
Yes, exactly. We need to encourage people to experiment and try new things.
And to celebrate all the different voices out there.
Right. Everyone should feel like they can be creative.
And in the end, each person gets to decide how they want to use AI.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In a way that feels true to them.
Authentic.
Here you go.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive for today.
I know. Time flies.
It really does. I hope this has given you some things to think about.
Definitely.
Whether you're already using AI or just curious about it, we've covered a lot.
From the tools themselves to the bigger questions about what it all means.
But the exploration doesn't stop here.
It doesn't. Keep learning and keep creating.
Yeah, this whole world of AI and creativity is constantly changing. Who knows what exciting things are coming next?
It's true.
And maybe you, the listener, will be the one to discover them.
That would be amazing.
Until next time, keep diving deep.